Coming up next on It's Personal, brought to you by Gunderson Health System. New Year's resolutions. How do you stick to them? You'll find out. Children's Miracle Network holiday cards are out there. How do you get yours? You'll learn more. And holiday eating. How can you stay fit and eat right during the holidays? Find out all next on It's Personal, brought to you by Gunderson Health System.
So basically my knee will be fused with metal?
Well, kind of.
And that means my new knee will be virtually indestructible.
No.
This is Tanner, a local school track star. Following his severe knee injury, he naturally had a few questions for his orthopedic surgeon at Gunderson Health System.
So when you do a full knee, how much of it is robotic?
Well,
I should be able to jump higher, right?
No.
Luckily, Gunderson doctors take extra care in explaining every detail, face to face, for a more personal experience.
What will you give me to make me sleep? How long will I be out? Is my surgery recorded?
Well, we do this.
Is it in HD?
Well, actually...
Cool.
It's just one of the ways we let our patients know they're in the most capable and caring hands. It's a combination of love plus medicine.
And if it's metal, I won't feel a thing. Oh, can I be a cage fighter?
Let's back up just a bit.
Learn more about Gunderson hospitals, clinics, and specialty services at gundersonhealth.org. Gunderson, where caring meets excellence.
Welcome back to It's Personal, brought to you by Gunderson Health System. I'm Chris Stauffer. New Year's resolutions. Why do we wait until January 1st to make life-changing events occur? Joining us to talk a little bit about that is wellness education specialist Shayna Schertz. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We were just talking about this before we started recording, and you said we wait till January 1st, but you can really do this anytime.
Correct, yes. New Year's resolutions, a lot of people make them January 1st because it's a time to put the previous year behind them and look forward to the next year.
What are some of the most common things? Weight loss?
Weight loss, exercising, eating healthy. That being said, they don't have to all revolve around eating healthy, losing weight. They can be as simple as maybe you are in debt, getting out of debt, being a better listener, being more mindful in general, so they don't have to deal with health and wellness.
I remember when I was in 8th grade, which was about 150 years ago, and Mr. Zingsheim said about 3 weeks into the new year, hey, I know we all wrote down these resolutions. I can just throw them away because we've already, gotten beyond them already, right? And we all looked at each other in the classroom and said, yeah, we kind of have. We've kind of broken those resolutions. Pretty common to do that?
Very common. That's why it's important to remember to be specific, make them real. So have them be realistic. If someone chooses to lose, say 20 pounds in a matter of a few weeks, that's not very realistic. So setting small, obtainable goals is what we want to aim for. And if you reach that goal, great. You can set another small, realistic goal down the road.
Another thing that I know a lot of people do is they get help. Can you talk a little bit about that? How you can get help, whether that's professional help or whether you can have a partner in crime?
It's never a bad thing to ask for support. Support is very important in all aspects of life. And when you are trying to attain a goal that you have been wanting to obtain for a long time, it's okay to lean on family members, lean on friends, lean on health professionals for that support to better help us obtain those goals.
One of the things is, we started off talking about the date, January 1st. A lot of people say, well, I've got the day off, so I'm going to start tomorrow. And then that kind of becomes a trend. I'm going to start tomorrow again. Well, today I've got this, that, and the other thing. How do you start today?
You really just have to put it in your mind. It's mind over matter. If you really want to do this, get it in your mind. You control your own body. So if you say you want to work out 30 minutes, 5 days a week, you can control that. We make those decisions. It's easy a lot of times to say, ooh, I'll wait. I'm going to start tomorrow. I don't feel like doing this today, but just really sticking to it and remembering the reason why you chose that goal in the first place.
We're talking with Shayna Schertz, Wellness Education Specialist, Gunderson Health System, talking about trying to set those goals and stick with them. What if you have a bad day or a couple of bad days?
It's okay. You can still start over tomorrow. If someone wants to, say, start eating healthfully and they mess up a meal, that's okay. The next meal, make it healthy, or the next day, get back on track. We all have setbacks, and we can bounce back from them, start fresh the next day. Don't let that snowball into I am not going to obtain this goal, I'm done, I'm quitting. Start over.
Sometimes we talk about the end goal. I want to lose 20 pounds, 40 pounds. I want to exercise. Is it better to just come up with a game plan and do it over time? Or is it just, hey, I'm going to attack this every day?
You want a reason why you're choosing that goal. If you're choosing a goal just simply to choose a goal and you have no reason in mind why you've chosen that, you probably aren't going to stick with it. So first of all, have a reason. Why are you choosing that goal? Second of all, put a game plan together. If you want to start exercising, okay, do you have a piece of equipment at home? What are you going to do? What do you enjoy doing? Do you want to join a gym? If so, that's a great time of the year. They have special deals and whatnot. So really having that plan in place and having a plan, if you fail, what can I do? What are some smaller goals? If something's not going to work for me, how can I reassess that goal, reevaluate, and start over?
One of the things you mentioned about exercise is something I enjoy doing. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We all think of exercise as going to the gym, getting on a treadmill. That is not the case. Movement. I like to think of exercise as movement. Doing anything from shoveling to gardening to playing with the kiddos at the park. It does not have to involve something that you dread doing because you won't stick with it. If you choose something that you truly enjoy doing, you are much more likely to stick with that.
Get up off the couch. That's the first step, right? Get up and get out.
Every step counts.
Every step does count. Top tips for sticking with those New Year's resolutions.
Like I said, make them specific, measurable, make sure that you can measure them. Make them attainable, realistic, and then put a time to that. If you want to get out of debt, how many months will it take you to get out of debt comfortably?
Lots of different ways, I guess. I think when most people think of those New Year's resolutions, they're thinking about, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to exercise, and that's why, as you said, the gyms tend to be busy that time of the year. But there's other things that you can start January 1st, and getting out of debt might be a good one, and might also have some mental health benefits to it as well.
Yes, New Year's resolutions do not have to deal all with losing weight. It can be a number of things. So just think about, in a year from now, what do I want to be better at? Is that listening? Is it being a better partner, being a better parent? How am I going to get there? What are the steps that I can take to do that?
I have to ask, do you have a New Year's resolution in mind?
I do not.
You just do them whenever you need to, right, Shayna?
Yes.
All right. Shayna Schertz, Wellness Education Specialist, Gunderson Health System. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. And when we come back, Children's Miracle Network holiday cards are out there. How do you get yours? You'll learn more. I'm Christopher for It's Personal, brought to you by Gunderson Health System.
This is Nancy, and this is the first time she's been outside in days. She's been rehabbing at Gunderson Health System, and now she's relaxing comfortably in bed, outside, on the patient terrace.
I'm an outdoor person, and I really missed getting out. I'd sometimes ask the staff to wheel me the long way back to my room after having tests done, just to see something different. Then one day they asked if I'd like to go outside. I thought they were joking.
Having a bed outside the hospital is not usual protocol for the staff at Gunderson, but sometimes a little more personal care is needed.
I'm parked in the sunshine with fresh air, and I think that bird is a goldfinch.
At Gunderson, we believe when a patient is as comfortable as possible, more is possible, and that love really is the best medicine.
Nope, it's a cardinal.
Learn more about Gunderson hospitals, clinics, and specialty services at gundersonhealth.org. Gunderson, where caring meets excellence.
Welcome back to It's Personal, brought to you by Gunderson Health System. I'm Christopher. Holiday cards are out there. Children's Miracle Network Hospital holiday cards are for sale at various stores in the area. Here to talk about that is Rena Cash. She's a program specialist for the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Holiday cards, they've been going on for a long time.
Yes, actually, this year is 29 years. Next year will actually be our 30-year anniversary of doing this with Empire Screen Printing out of Alaska. So they do this all at their own expense, and 100% of the proceeds from these card sales comes back to Children's Miracle Network and helps kids at a local level.
The holiday cards, what are they? Maybe we should just start with the basics.
They're holiday cards.
Holiday cards, cards that you send to friends and family and neighbors and throw in a picture and well wishes.
Yes, they all have a nice little saying, and it changes every year. And generally in the past, this is like a competition that we do. We do a holiday card contest in the community. Kids do pictures. They used to be specifically just kids that were helped by CMN, but now we have opened it up to kids in the community that just want to help in some way, shape, or form. So we've had some really good entries. And actually this year's card features Braden Ball, who actually was a kid that was helped by CMN. And he's a 16-year-old kid out of Prairie du Chien who just loves to do things for our hospital and to constantly give back to us. So he was super excited to be the winner this year. And it features a really cute little cardinal that he did, and which is something he enjoys with bird watching. And then the other design are a pair of mittens colored orange, because orange is his favorite color. So there's wonderful story with him.
So some tough competition this year for Braden, some other awesome entries.
There's other entries that other kids from the community have put in. Gunderson Credit Union was super generous this year and donated a $50 Visa gift card for him to use as the winner. So I think he's actually going to put that towards a new computer for himself.
Maybe there'll be some graphic art
I think
included
so.
in that. So, talk about, you mentioned that there's a cardinal on the cover, some mittens, and awesome for any family. This is pretty, I don't want to say the word generic, but it can be used for multiple purposes, maybe not even necessarily just the holidays.
Yeah, anyone can use them. I think the message, I think it's just keeping things simple, enjoying the simple things is the saying inside of it. So I think it goes across just more than Christmas and the holidays. I think you could use it anytime.
Where are the cards available at?
They're available at Gunderson Gift Shop, Deacon Berglund, Thompson Animal Medical Center, Gunderson Credit Union, Gunderson Health Shop in Onalaska. Toma Area Credit Union is going to carry them. And also we have a couple of new sites this year. Dairy Queen in Onalaska is going to be look at selling some of these cards, and potentially Ace Hardware out of La Crosse.
Lots of great partners out there for the Children's Miracle Network, and you couldn't do it without those great partners.
No, Dairy Queen and Ace Hardware are actually national partners of Children's Miracle Network, and they raise thousands of dollars for us every year. They're huge supporters of what we do and believe in our mission of helping sick kids.
Now, you mentioned Empire Screen Printing is the sponsor of the holiday card. They've been doing this nearly 30 years. Next year, a big year. I'm sure there'll be a special card and some chat probably already occurring regarding that. But talk about how much money's been raised over time, because it seems like it's been pretty significant, especially when they're donating 100% of the proceeds.
Yeah, over the time, we've raised probably about $240,000 just off of holiday cards in the 29 years.
That's a lot of cards.
That is a lot of cards. So it's just been a wonderful partnership, and we enjoy having it with them, and we look forward to doing this every year.
How much are the cards? When people
They're $8 a pack, and this year actually features 20 cards per pack. That includes envelopes and seals for them. And the seals are actually taken from a portion of the drawing on the card. So it'll feature a nice little sticker.
Sure. We're talking with Rena Cash. She is a program specialist for Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Maybe we should talk a little bit about what CMN is involved in, giving back to the community, in case there's somebody out there that has not heard of CMN, how they can maybe get involved, but what it is where the money goes to.
Yeah, 100% of the funds that are raised by Children's Miracle Network go back to support our mission of helping sick kids. And we do it in a variety of ways. We do patient-specific grants to help with things out of the kids' homes, such as wheelchair ramps, medications. We have a number of children that suffer from diabetes. So we do things like pumps and supplies and items like that, even some clothing items, if kids need special adaptive vests, sensory equipment, stuff like that. We also help a lot with programs and stuff within the hospital. We purchase panda warmers, isolettes for our NICU. So we buy a lot of specialized equipment that's used here, which makes us a really good pediatric specialty area. So we try to make sure that they have the best equipment available to do a number of things for kids in our community.
And I know Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, CMN, is approached by different community things that are occurring. Can you talk a little bit about that? Meaning things like playground and making things accessible. What other items are out there that CMN is involved in?
Well, a recent thing that we helped sponsor or partnered with was the Elston Playground. That's actually here on site at Gunderson Health System. That's open to not only patients here, pediatric patients that are being taken care of in the hospital, it's open to all kids in the public. What's just really phenomenal about this playground is that it's inclusive. So kids with all kinds of abilities are able to utilize the equipment that is out there and available. It has a really great rubberized surface, so it makes it really nice for kids in wheelchairs to get on. There's actually a wheelchair swing, and it features more like a ramp that they go on, and they just kind of swing back and forth on it.
I know when there is someone in the hospital that is in need of assistance, it's an easy process.
Yes.
Can you talk about why that's important and what that process is like for someone who has a child that may be admitted to the hospital suddenly from an accident, for example?
Yeah, we try to make our process as simple as possible, and it wouldn't be feasible without amazing staff that we have here that just get our mission and what we do. If parents have kids that are admitted into the hospital via an emergency or even coming in for a simple, cough, could turn into something very serious, and they have to be admitted for testing or anything like that. What we do is our nurses are able to get a hold of a social worker for the family that we have here at Gunderson, and the social workers will come in and meet with the family, determine what their needs are, and they'll go through a grant application process. And it's a really simple form that they fill out with the help of the social worker. And it just requires sometimes, like if a kid needs adaptive equipment or something like that, it may involve like an estimate or a quote from a specialized vendor that they need help with, or just a letter sometimes of recommendation from their medical provider that just helps us determine the need and what.
Sometimes the nurse is doing that for them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why it's just such an amazing process and the help that we get from staff here. So we try to make it just really simple for them and try to ease some of those burdens and those hardships, because even if it's something as simple as just meal tickets up on the floor. I mean,
Meal tickets, gas money.
It is just the cost of gas just from traveling back and forth. I mean, no one expects their kid to get sick or that they're going to have to stay here. And
they may have forgot their wallet behind.
Exactly, especially in emergencies, and just providing comfort of just getting them a hot meal while they're here. Just does wonders for some of these families, and it adds up. And these unanticipated expenses, it makes it hard for people to afford their rent or their mortgages or just groceries. Some of the stuff that we can offset by helping provide care for medications or equipment or these meals here in the hospital just helps so they can cover some of those other costs within their budgets.
It all makes sense. Rena, again, we're out of time, but can you give us an idea again how we can get the holiday cards, and is there a website available? They're on the Gunderson website?
Yes, you can go to gundersonhealth.org/holiday cards, and you can order them online. Shipping and everything will be on there, and it'll auto total it for you, and that'll get submitted into us, and we'll get your holiday cards out to you.
Still got time to do that. Rena, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Rena Cash, Children's Miracle Network Hospital Program Specialist, and the holiday cards. And speaking of the holidays, when we come back, we're going to talk about holiday eating and how you can stay healthy even during the holidays.
Nobody likes having blood drawn, especially kids. But Lisa has been a Gunderson Health System lab tech for over 20 years, and she's learned a few tricks to help ease the pain.
When I first started, another tech taught me a secret that's won me a lot of points with my younger patients.
Hey, Bunny!
The hand-drawn bunny bandage, made right in front of the kids so they can see it's just for them. I have some multicolored markers so that the bunnies can even match their outfits.
Little things like this are what make Gunderson different from the rest, providing extra care where it's needed most through all stages of life. We call it love plus medicine.
If I can help them through a scary experience with a simple explanation, a bit of encouragement, and a gentle touch, that's it. I've done my job. Then I top it off with a bunny bandage.
Thanks.
Next time I see them, my face might be a little more welcome.
Learn more about Gunderson hospitals, clinics, and specialty services at gundersonhealth.org. Gunderson, where caring meets excellence.
Welcome back to It's Personal, brought to you by Gunderson Health System. I'm Chris Stauffer. The holidays are upon us, and a lot of us, when we think of the holidays, we automatically think of food. And sometimes it's too much food or the wrong kinds of foods. Trying to help us navigate through some of that is Rachel Johnson. She's a registered dietitian, nutrition therapy at Gunderson Health System. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having
And
me.
happy holidays.
Thank you. You too.
So we automatically apply food to the holidays and gatherings. People bring in 15 batches of different kinds of cookies, and you have to try them all, for goodness sakes. How do you get around it, Rachel?
Well, really the best thing is to try to just go in prepared and try to slow down. You don't need to say no to all the food. It's just about priorities is really the way that I like to think about it.
Talk a little bit about priorities, because are you talking about when you sit down at that big meal and, oh my gosh, there's mashed potatoes, I haven't had those in a long time, and the extra butter and the gravy that goes with them. Is that what you mean? Smaller portions?
So priorities just means, trying to decide what it is that you really want to enjoy. So a lot of times when we're going to a buffet or a party, and like you said, there's a lot of food in front of us, how many times have you grabbed a plate and then by the time you're halfway down the table, your plate is overflowing? So it's scanning the table beforehand, taking a look at that dessert table, and really picking out what your favorites are. My personal favorite is I love stuffing, and I'm going to prioritize that on my plate. Something that I eat year-round, like maybe a wild rice salad or mashed potatoes, that thing that I have all the time doesn't really hold quite so much weight with me. So finding the way to work in the special treats that I don't get to have all year round and make those the priority on my plate, and then just balancing everything else out.
So more of a balanced plate, and
Yes.
maybe some smaller proportions up front will help you at the end of that,
Yes.
almost like a buffet that we have
Yes.
during the holidays oftentimes. What about, choosing foods? What foods are better than others during the holidays? Because certainly we know that, cookies maybe not be the best choice, but when we're sitting down at that big meal, mashed potatoes, should we be going in that direction? You mentioned you love stuffing. Is that safe?
Well,
It can be, I suppose.
What we don't want to think about is good food versus bad food, because a lot of times that can set up a paradigm where you're trying to be so good and then you're just cracking and having the bad food, and it's not really healthy to think of food that way. All food is healthy in moderate proportions. So when I'm looking at balance at a meal, I want to just see a variety of food groups on my plate, because that's going to help you stay full for a little bit longer. If you are loading up on just mashed potatoes and cookies and stuffing and a lot of starchy foods, you're not going to be full for very long, and you're going to be right back eating within another hour or so. So starting off with a protein food and then mixing it up, trying to get at least 3 food groups on that plate. As far as portion sizes go, I think there's a really easy tool that we all carry around with us, and it is our hand.
Okay.
So using your hand as kind of your guideline for your portion sizes. So for your turkey or your ham, about the size and thickness of the palm of your hand. For your mashed potatoes or your stuffing or your bread, those rolls, ball your hand up in a fist, about that size. If you're having like a salad, 2 fists, that's a pretty good amount. If you're adding butter or dressing, your thumb, that's a pretty good amount. So keeping those in mind, and then also, working in the things that you don't get to have all the time, because one piece of pie a year, probably not going to kill you.
Right. some excellent tips there. That's some good ideas. So talk about pie, talk about cookies, because let's face it, we've now just eaten this big meal, and even though we've maybe done portion control, they roll out the sweets, and now it's kind of like, I feel like I need to have that. Is there some ideas that go along with dessert?
Just like with the main meal, again, it's scanning it, going, okay, those cookies over there that I can pick up at the grocery store every day of the week, maybe I don't really want that, but my grandma's pecan pie that I only get once a year, that's what I'm going to have, Waiting a little bit after the meal to have it as well, or if it is coming out as the same time as the meal is, then just proportioning it on your plate along with everything else.
We're talking with Rachel Johnson. She's a registered dietitian, nutrition therapy at Gunderson Health System. We've been talking about eating all the food. What about preparing the food? Is there some ideas about trying to even do it up front when it comes to healthy eating?
Well, you can always try to make some easy substitutions. You can use olive oil instead of butter. You can use a whole variety of things to substitute. Like if you're making mashed potatoes, instead of sour cream, using Greek yogurt or something like that. But if you're really not in control of the food preparation, like you're going to your family's house and they're making all the food, using those portion size guidelines and that overall balance is going to help you regardless.
What about kids? The kids, how do we help them learn early about healthy eating habits at big meals?
I would say taking them along with you, as you're looking at the food, asking them, what do you prefer? What is it that is your favorite thing to eat at Thanksgiving? Trying a little bit of this and that, helping them to bring more balance onto that plate as well, and really just leading by that good example. So when we label food as good versus bad, kids are just like us, and they start to absorb some of those rules that, I shouldn't eat that. I'm being bad when I'm eating that. So I've already eaten the one piece of pie, I already blew it for today, I might as well go back for more. So it's really about demonstrating for them that healthy relationship with food, which the best way to lead is through example.
Can we talk a little bit about leftovers, because that's always a thing that happens around the holidays. How do you manage leftovers, and what's safe when it comes to leftovers? You've got turkey and stuffing and lots of different things that are stuck in the freezer or the fridge for a couple of days.
Yeah.
What's safe?
Make sure that when you are eating leftovers, you are heating it back up to a good temperature. Put it in the microwave until it's steaming hot, until you know for sure that it has been heated thoroughly. You can freeze food for a long time and it should be fine. Just like with turkey, if I make a gigantic turkey and I have a ton of it and I know for sure that my family's not going to eat it in the next 5 days, then take half of that, throw it in the freezer, and then in July, you can pull it out and you can throw it in some soup. It's really just about how you are handling it and how you are reheating it. Make sure that you do put it in the refrigerator within about an hour, hour and a half of when that meal was. What the most important thing to remember is you just don't want it to be lingering at room temperature for a long time. So get it cooled down quickly and heat it back up all the way, and you should be fine.
So maybe not a good idea to leave the turkey sitting out on the counter for several hours waiting for the football game to end and people eat again.
So put it in the fridge, take it out and heat it back up. That's really going to be the safest bet.
Final question, because we're just about out of time, but what about beverages during the holidays? What are some good things to think of?
Well, beverages are going to be important to be aware of, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Liquid calories certainly contribute quite a bit of calories to our diet, but what they don't contribute is some of that fullness and that satiety signal that you get from, say, eating food. So if you go to a Mexican restaurant and you have a gigantic margarita, you're going to eat the same amount as if you had just drank water beforehand. So it's difficult to balance that out when we're not getting the same amount of fullness. If you are drinking something like alcohol, then it is always helpful to try to slow it down by alternating alcoholic beverages with a water, which will help give your body some time to process through that as well. But again, it's just overall moderation. So once a year, couple, not going to be a major problem, but just try to span it out over the course of a couple hours so you're not overdoing it.
Certainly makes sense. Rachel Johnson, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Rachel Johnson, registered dietitian, Gunderson Health System, Nutrition Therapy. If you'd like information about holiday eating or any of the other topics covered on today's program, including New Year's resolutions and those holiday cards, all you have to do is go to the Gunderson Health System website. That's gundersonhealth.org. That's going to wrap it up for us. For It's Personal, I'm Chris Stauffer.